Hello, everybody, and welcome into Inside Cornerstone, your weekly look at everything going on at our church here in Alexander City. Cornerstone, First Global Methodist Church, and we are so glad that you've joined us today. I'm glad to be back. I don't get to be here as often as I used to be because of my schedule, and so I really appreciate the opportunity when I do have a chance to get back here with Coach and Pastor Billy Coleman here at our church. And Coach, I always look forward to this. I just don't get to hear very much.
Well, it's great to have you with us today. I'm telling you, I always know that I've got an hour of fun. Okay, I mean, you laugh at things that nobody else laughs at when I say them. And
what does that say about me?
Well, maybe that you tolerate me. I don't know, but it's so much fun to do this, and I want to thank everybody for your wonderful comments. I hope that you're telling the truth, because it is, we're supposed to tell the truth. But you make nice comments about our show. We really appreciate that. Most of all, we hope God gets the glory, but we truly enjoy this.
We do.
We have a great time.
We have a great time. I enjoy having, this time with you. And to talk about everything that's going on in our church, it's a great platform for us to be disciples to others, even God.
Does that mean he agrees?
I don't know.
Or is he upset?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna
let you. Roll of thunder.
I'm gonna let you interpret what that was. But anyway, we are having a little bit of a storm come through as we film this today, and we hope everybody's safe out there. But going back, and we've been doing this for over 2 years now, which is kind of crazy.
I can't believe that.
And so we do hope that this brings a positive light to some of you out there, and you enjoy what we do. And we're able to tell people more in depth about the programs and the different discipleship programs that our church is part of. I know we got Project 412 coming up this coming up month. We're all heavily involved in that, and
we need to get Jimmy on here probably next week.
Well, Jimmy and I talked this past week, and he definitely wants to come on and talk about this. I remember it felt like yesterday we were doing the Project 412 last year. And it really did. We just had graduation here in the county. Most all the schools have already graduated and are out for the summer. So, we hope everybody has a fun, safe summer. And, congratulations to all that graduated in our area as they move on to the next phase of their life, whether it be to college or the military or to a job or wherever it is. We just hope and pray that they're successful, and
definitely.
we wish them nothing but the best. But going back to what we do here, we decided years ago that when we wanted to do this show, we didn't want to just replay our service every Sunday from the previous Sunday. We wanted to kind of highlight, have guests on here and talk about our youth program, talk about our adult programs, talk about our Sunday school classes, talk about our outreach programs, talk about the things that our church does to help the community, like Feast of Sharing and stuff like that.
It's busy.
Well,
Cornerstone is busy.
It really is. You're not looking around trying to figure out what to do. That's for sure. And, another program that's housed at Cornerstone that's not affiliated with Cornerstone, but is housed at Cornerstone is our Sin Youth program, which me and Micah Murphy and Jaden Tuck head up, and it's a brand new program. A lot of you maybe have not heard a lot about that.
That's going to change.
That's going to change. We've had some hurdles to get over, and we're proud to say that we're making strides and steps and going in the right direction to try to establish a program that is going to help not just Tallapoosa County, but Coosa County and the youth of our communities to kind of help get them on a career path, Coach.
Well, anything that's worthwhile at first is going to be some challenges, and you're going to have some difficulties, and you're going to get tempted to take a step back. But I'm proud to say that we didn't do that. We went forward. We moved forward. I think we cleared a couple of big hurdles in the past week, and I think that this program is geared right now and is ready to start making a difference in the lives of the young people that we're trying to help.
I think everybody involved, and, you're chairman of our board. I ask you to be chairman of the board, and, as a retired educator, and We've got all the school superintendents that are part of the board. We've got a couple of county commissioners and T.C. Coley and Steve Robinson that are part of our our board. We've got some career coaches in the county that are part, and guidance counselors that are part of our board.
Right.
We try to compile a group of people that have either had a career in education, or
Right.
that either are or passionate about education beyond the walls of the school. We want to see our youth have a career.
Sure.
It's not, the goal is to get them through school, but then to make
them
them
in.
to make them
Yeah.
contributing members of our society.
You cannot find one person that will not agree that there's a tremendous need for this. Now, they're a little confused maybe on how we're going to do it, but everybody agrees on this. There's an unbelievable need there, and you're improving the quality of life for young people. And we're talking about for the rest of their life. And your job, my job, has been an integral part of who we are. And now we're
100%.
trying to provide the same opportunity for these young people who don't have the hope of that. Everybody agrees with it, just how you going to do it.
Yeah, and I think when you ever have when you ever get education in your blood, you don't ever get it out. I retired from. Well, I don't. I mean, I think it's.
It's a blessing or a curse,
it's a little
depending on who you talk to.
Right, I'm waiting to cue the thunder above. And there it was a little bit actually.
Yeah.
But the career that you put in, you think, well, I'm going to move on to something else, and then you get pulled back in some form or fashion, whether serving on a board or whether being a director or something. And I really thought I had put education in my rearview mirror, but it's not the case.
No.
So, but a great opportunity. We're looking forward to making the most out of it, and we're going to give this thing 110%. So we're going to talk more about that program, and if you'd like to be part of that program, if you would like to assist, by being a teacher, by donating money. If you want to find out more about the ins and outs of Ascend, we would love for you to come by and sit down with us at our office, the house right beside the church, and schedule an appointment. And again, we hope to have 50 to 75 students enrolled by the end of September.
That's great. Let's go.
And so we've got one right now that we finally got over.
You got to get one first.
Well, now we've got a boatload that are sitting there waiting.
Oh, yeah.
But we did finally get over the hump and get our first student enrolled this past week. And then we do want to thank the people in Montgomery for making a trip up here and sitting down with us and helping us work through some technical issues that we were running into, and some hurdles that hopefully that we've gotten past now, so we can move forward. But again, we'll be talking more about that. Again, that's one of the many programs that we're affiliated with, that if we didn't do a show like this, you probably would never hear anything about.
That's right. I'm looking forward to the future. I think it's going to be great. And helping a young person makes all the difference in your life.
It absolutely does. All right, so moving on to what we do in our church. Again, you can keep up with us. If you're watching on TV, you see it at the bottom of the screen, cornerstone-fgmc.org. You can go on social media and find us there. Our Facebook page, and let me remind everybody, all of our services are archived in both places. So if you miss a Sunday, you want to go back and you want to go watch something that you weren't able to be part of, you can do that. You can go all the way back, and you can find all these services there, and both the Arbor and the Green Street service. So we appreciate everybody that helps make that happen every Sunday.
Had a new pastor last Sunday, a new preacher at the Arbor, sir. David Hand.
Did a pretty doggone good job.
Oh, yeah. David's a great guy. And when I asked him, I had the opportunity to go down to Stillwater's Resort. They have a great little church thing that goes on starting in Memorial Sunday. And I think I've done about 25, Brett. Back when I was a younger man,
okay,
I would actually go down there and do it. And David filled in. I got back at Green Street. I came in the winging a prayer. I barely made it, but and I know we're fixing to go
No
to a
pun
break
intended,
and stuff.
by the way.
But anyway, David, I know, did a tremendous job. I've already heard the wonderful stuff that he did, and it was a memorial service. And I hope when we come back from our break that we can really get into the memorial service part. Britt, that's my favorite holiday, and it's got so much meaning to us. So we'll get to talk about that.
Yeah,
won't
looking
we?
forward to it. And look, Scout Sunday as well this past Sunday, and I want to add something to that. So when we come back, all right, stay tuned. Just getting started here on Inside Cornerstone.
Can't wait.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Back here on Inside Cornerstone, again, I want to thank all of you that join us each and every week, and glad to be back here. Don't know when I'll be back again, but
We sure miss you when you're not here
Well,
now. But remember that now.
well, I appreciate
Well,
that. I
we do.
feel it, and I also I also know that whoever takes this seat's doing a phenomenal job. So glad to watch.
Well, there's only one person that does that, and that would be me.
Well, you're doing
so
a great job.
you better tone it down a little bit.
Well, the guests you bring on, or maybe I should say they do a really good job. over there in
Agreed.
that seat,
I will.
so.
I agree with that. The guests are great.
They do have great guests, and we want to continue to bring guests on and talk about what's
definitely.
going on, in the world of our church, and then people from outside of our church that we have guests, so from time to time. And
Yeah,
talk about.
we're more than just Cornerstone. We're Alexander City, the community, and
Right.
all that goes with it. Yeah.
Let's talk about Memorial Day.
Let's do.
And,
Woo.
Memorial Day service this past Sunday, I think, again, David at the Arbor got up and talked about the difference between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. And I think, it's a valid point. Sometimes people, they kind of mix those up, and they're both very honorable remembrances, but one is maybe greater than the other because Memorial Day is a tribute to those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Well, one of my favorite phrases about Memorial Day is all have given some, but some have given all.
Right.
And Memorial Day is about those that gave it all. And it's my favorite holiday because it incorporates elements of Thanksgiving and Easter into it. And I'll explain that maybe in a second. But I'd like for you to think of something just for a second out there. Go through your day and ask yourself, how is it that we have that privilege How is it that we're able, every time we turn a light switch on, every time we wash our hands, we have running water, we have electricity, we have opportunities, we can go out and earn a living that pays for our house, sends our kids to school. It goes on and on. All of those things were bought and paid for by those who gave their life for us. And then incorporated right into the middle of it, Brett, is God's sacrifice of his only son for us. Goes hand in hand with Memorial Day. We are here today because people died for us, spiritually and physically. And we're the most blessed nation in the history of the, would you agree with that?
No, 100%.
In the history of the world, we're the most blessed. And it's because people were willing to stand up and make a fight so that we could keep the rights and the honors and opportunities that we have.
You know, just think about this, Coach, for a second.
Yeah.
If you didn't have people that were willing to step up and defend the things that we believe in, what would we be right now? I mean, like, for example, there are a lot of countries in this world.
Go around the world and look.
There are a lot of countries that have not had the defense that we've had, and they've had to succumb to, whatever the bully is, whoever it is. And, we had, founding principles of this country based on Christianity and the Bible. And, there's no better example than Christ and the passion that he had for us as humans, and to lay down his life for us, sight unseen, to save us. And then what our military and our troops do, knowing when they enlist, what the potential is. You go into that going, hopefully there'll never be another war. Right. Hopefully it'll be peaceful, and hopefully what we do and our presence is enough to deter an enemy from doing, certain things. But we all know that's not the case. We've been in conflicts and war, and we're in conflicts and war now, in little parts all over this world. And it's because of our military that allow us to function as a country the way we do. And if you didn't have those men and women out there on the front line, we would be vulnerable to whatever the bully is out there. I hate to keep using,
but there's plenty of them out there.
Well, there are, and there are a lot of people out there in other places that want to see us fail and want to see us collapse and want to take us over, and that don't like that we are the strongest country in the world.
I don't know.
And so, if you don't think our military is important, and you think that the government is wasting money by building our military up, you're completely wrong. I'm sorry if you disagree with what I'm saying, but it's called peace through strength, and President Trump talks about that. You don't build a military up to go attack others. You build a military up, in our case, to defend our principles and our rights, and to protect the way of life that we have. Because if you didn't have it, Coach, you wouldn't have this life.
I totally agree. What kid on the playground never gets in a fight? The one that's so big and strong that they'll beat the crap out of you.
Exactly.
If you jump on them.
Like, you go and it's like you look at him and you go, if you're crazy enough to go mess with that guy, you get what you deserve.
That's right. That's right. And we have a strong presence in the world, and it protects us. We go about our daily lives. We have no concept. I don't. Of
I don't
the
either.
sacrifice
I don't
those
either.
people made for us.
Look, I was just in a meeting the other day. Well, it was a retirement. And I won't name names. I could, and it doesn't matter, but I just won't name names. But this gentleman was retiring, been in education a long time, and he had a retirement party, and there were a lot of us that attended, and 2 of his daughters were there, but then a couple of his children were not there, and one is in the military, and one is in a situation to where he is in. A lot of people, like you said, go about their daily business and don't think, there's not a major conflict going on. Everybody is good. Now, we have servicemen and women every day that are in harm's way, and you don't know what they're doing. You don't know what missions they're on. And, he teared up a little bit saying that, they couldn't be, they had a valid reason they couldn't be there at his retirement party because
there were more important
one was
things.
off doing the things that
Right.
allow us to have that party.
Right.
And you know, and it's hard not to get emotional about that. And you know, the stress of, you know, your kid or your parent or somebody when they walk out the door and they leave you and they're gone for months on a mission or whatever.
Forever.
Or maybe never.
Right.
'Cause maybe that's the last time. You know, and the same can be said on a local level for first responders. First responders go out and they protect society and they put themselves in harm's way day in and day out.
That's
They
right.
they answer a call. They don't know when that next deadly accident or fire is going to happen. They don't know when that next dangerous situation where somebody is attacking people and they've got firearms and they've got to go into a building and try to secure and neutralize that threat. You know, and again, they walk out every day and they leave a family behind.
Exactly.
And you know, their family prays about their safe return that afternoon or that night. And again, we just don't understand. None of us that have been in that position really the amount of sacrifice that
Yeah, I agree totally. And you may be watching our show today saying, well, we're supposed to be talking about Christianity.
Well, this is
and church.
Christianity.
That's what protects it. They protect. The United States is one nation under God. And I don't care who objects to that. It is one nation under God. It always has been. And it stands for the basic principles of Christianity and Jesus Christ. Yes, we have people in our country that want to take that away from us. But our founding fathers, the first book ever in a public school in this nation was the Bible, because we used it to teach our children how to read the Bible. And that's what America is all about.
And I'm not to cut you off, Coach, but to
that's okay.
to me, the reason our society has deteriorated in a lot of phases is because we have gone away from that book. And when I say that book,
Sure.
the Bible, at whatever point in time we decided that wasn't important. Look, I know we live in a diverse society. I know there are multiple religions, but our country was founded on Christianity.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about that.
And look, you can coexist and you live in a free country where you're able to go out and believe and worship however you want to do it.
In this country, you can.
In this country, right.
You go somewhere else in the world and they'll kill you.
Right. And I
here
think
in
people need to
America,
understand that
they
you don't
do.
throw that around loosely. That's the truth. And I think people in this country, they rally and they say things they don't even know what they're saying. And it's they're defending something on the surface when they don't know really the ins and outs. And if you go, well, go over there to that country and say what you're saying right now and see how it works out for you.
America stands up for the right to believe what you choose to believe.
And so, I, again, not to belabor a point, but the Bible, the foundations of our country, the things that it teaches you on how to live in society, civilized, the further away we get from that book, the worse our society gets, period. I'll stand on that every single day.
Of course.
And look, you can just see it in the things that affect us every single day, whether it be from things that you look at online to the way education's handled, to the way the government's run. I mean, just every phase of our life, if the Bible and Christianity is removed from that, then you allow the secular world to kind of run the ship.
Our legislature opens every day with prayer. And then we turn around and tell kids that they can't pray in their schools.
Well, isn't that hypocrisy?
Well, of course it is. And
So-
America was built on Christianity and faith.
Yep. All right, so we're going to take a break. We come back, we're going to talk some about our Memorial Day services from this past weekend and again, kind of dive into why it's such an important holiday, and everybody's out having fun and an opportunity to get out and do things that they love to do because of people that made the sacrifice. So stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com, today.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Welcome back, everyone, to Inside Cornerstone. We will have a segment of one of our services coming up here in the last segment. So our last segment here with everybody, Coach, to talk about such a special past Sunday and Monday.
Kind of overlooked in this country, coming right on the heels of graduation,
Yeah, and, I'm not going to go down this road. I was going to go down a path, and, it's disgusting, but I don't want to turn this into politics, but, the fact that there's some leaders out there that would take Memorial Day and try to overshadow it with some other day or some other function or something is disgusting to me, because they wouldn't even be in the situation to be a leader if it weren't for the people
who sacrificed
their life. But so that's why I say it's disgusting. And you can read into it. You can go out there and Google what I'm talking about. I'm not going to get into it because it just really doesn't even need to warrant any of our time. But going back to Memorial Day and why it's important, I'm glad we celebrate it in our church, is because the family members of those people that live on, again, the sacrifice that their family member made, there is no greater sacrifice. I think it's John 15:13.
No greater love if one man for another than he lay down his life for.
There's nothing else that you can do physically.
And Jesus said that.
He did. And there is nothing greater another human can do for another.
Right.
That it is so important that, it's just amazing, the fearlessness and the willing and the passion that we're so thankful that so many people have to defend our rights here in this country. I don't think you can talk about it enough.
Did you like the presentation of the colors where our young people and our scouts come down at the beginning of the service and they present the colors? And some people would say maybe that, well, this is a Christian thing. That what are we doing with the flags and all that kind of stuff? You can't separate the United States of America and the Christian faith. So that flag waving, and then we say, and I understand in the arbor they folded it back up.
They did, the 13 folds. I didn't know that.
Man.
I didn't know the explanation. I've been around. I know the military. I know all of the, the way it folds, and nothing but the blue and the stars are showing. But there is a rhyme and reason behind every fold of that flag, and that was explained. But let me say something about Scouts, and again, hate to say it, but it's a dying breed, and both on the boys and the girls.
It's been attacked for sure.
Well, it's been attacked, but you just find lesser amounts of kids that want to be involved in a program, to me, that's so foundational to our country. It teaches. I was in Scouts up until a certain point. I didn't finish Eagle, but it was the thing to do. Our Scout troop, like everybody was in it. I mean, it was and then you learn so much about
Patriotism.
you learn so much, Coach, about how to do things. I mean, like, like
true.
you go to camp, and there were certain tests you had to pass to earn, merit badges.
Knowing how to survive and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that I learned then that I still carry with me today. That unfortunately we've got kids now that never are exposed to any of that stuff,
Right.
and so it is unfortunate, but I applaud those that are there and
I
that
do too.
still think it's important. And
our church has a scout troop.
and it's been that way for a
Yeah.
long time. That's the scout
Proud of
troop I
them.
was part of.
Of course.
And, we've got a building there for
Yeah.
scouts on property that.
Well, we love everything that we have going on at church, and Scouts is one of those, and we love them. And I think they really enjoy being a part of those services.
I
They
remember,
take it very seriously.
Well, absolutely. Well, I remember Scout Sunday when I was in Scouts, and
Yeah.
all of us having a role to play.
Yeah.
And all of us getting up, and whether it be, carrying the colors in, or whether it be talking about whatever it was in the program
Mm-hmm.
that we had. But
And I appreciate the church that supports that.
Right.
They love that. They don't look at each other and say, we're doing this thing today. We don't have to go to that. They support everything we do. Whether it's the children, the youth, the scouts, the choir does a cantata. I mean, everything that we do, it seems like we're on board with it. And of course, give God all the glory for that. We're one. I love that
100%.
in our church.
Well, let me go back, since I was in the Arbor service, and I want to talk about the message that David had for a second.
Sure.
He made it, a down home message, and I think David does a really good job of just really telling stories.
Yeah.
And incorporating the Bible into that, and talking about, we get caught up 4th of July, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, holidays, and we don't stop long enough to think about why we do what we're doing.
Of course.
Christmas. Hey, why do we celebrate Christmas?
Yeah.
It's not because we go out and buy everybody gifts, and it's not because we love the family time. We love the get-togethers and all, but it's really not about that. That holiday.
It's got the same element in it that our service we just had.
No, it's the same deal.
We always
Right.
try to distort it. a
Right.
little.
Well, and I thought David told a good story, and I think we all should listen, and we all have opportunities to share. I'm a big history buff, huge, that. And I would like to think that with my son, and my daughter stops me all the time, even with her friends, bunch of teenage girls, they go, "Hey, Mr. Brett, can you tell us about what happened?" And I'm like, "You really?
Wow.
You want to hear about that?
That's
like, you
awesome.
really want to?" But I mean, it's. I think they know that I love history so much, and they're like, "Well, tell us about this." And so, but with my son, I think his love for history's kind of come from me and the different stuff. But David told a story about the flag, and Colby, one of Braden's good friends, is David's son, said he came out and said, "Dad, you putting the flag up?" And he's like, "Yeah, putting the flag up. It's, the weekend." And he said Colby walked inside, and that was it. And he said he got to cutting grass, and he thought, "Man, I missed a golden opportunity to tell him why I'm hanging the flag up." Why it's not just we just do it because we do it.
That's good.
There's a lot of meaning behind why I do it. And he went through and kind of explained why he likes to hang the flag up, and it's because their next door neighbor has a son that is in the military right now,
Right.
and what a message that sends to them. That they appreciate
Right.
what he's doing. He hangs the flag up because we live in a country that allows us to be able to worship freely. He hangs the flag up because we can cook out on the weekends, and we have the right. I mean, he went through 4 or 5 different things that I think people just take for granted, and you go, "Man, that flag represents something."
It does.
And it's a symbol, no different than this cross.
Absolutely.
This cross is a symbol of what Jesus sacrificed.
Right.
Well, when you look at that flag, and that's why it makes you so mad to see people burn that flag and disrespect that flag. And you can read into things, whatever you want to read into it, but that flag represents our morals and our foundations and the people that
Sure.
have gone on to defend our rights. And it's sickening, man. Like, look, if you disagree with certain things, that's fine. But, man, when you desecrate something and you demean it, it's not just about the material that you're burning. It's what it represents. And so David did a really good job of explaining why the flag should be important, not just to him, but to everybody.
Of course. The flag is a symbol of our freedom. We hung our flag up, and I just love it. I get the most when I go to a football game or a basketball game or something that I go to, and we play the national anthem, and everybody stands up and they're singing the national anthem. The first thing I do, this is probably wrong, I look and I see, make sure, is everybody putting their hand over their heart? You know, it became popular not long ago in athletics where that wasn't the case. People would turn their back when we played the national anthem and the flag, or they'd get down on their knee and face the opposite way, or they would put their head down as if to be ashamed of it. And I noticed, I mean, maybe I shouldn't, but I noticed stuff like that. And I just believe our country, there's never been a country, we're not perfect, no way. But there's never been a country like the United States of America. We protect the rights of those who choose to burn the flag. Who else does that? I mean, the United States of America, your freedom is valuable enough to us that we will allow you to say whatever you want to say. Now, we might not disagree with it, and we're not going to go along with you, but in this country, you can do that. Where else can you do that?
Is there a bigger slap in the face than to take a knee or to look off or be disrespectful during the national? I mean,
to me, there's not.
No, there's not. I mean,
No.
Again, whatever statement you're trying to make, so be it. But at the end of the day, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than whatever thing that you think you're fighting for. Mm-hmm. And here's the honest truth. And I may make some people mad with what I'm about to say. You do live in a free country, and you have the choice to leave if you don't like it.
It's amazing how we don't take advantage of that.
Right. I mean, you would rather sit here and complain about how bad it is rather than say, okay, I'm just going to go find a place that I agree with more or that's in line with my views and values. Rather you sit back and do that kind of stuff. I mean, again, that's my opinion, and
everybody,
agree or disagree.
You have a right to your opinion, but you don't have the right to impose it on others.
Right, and that's
who might have a different opinion.
Right, exactly. You know? So, and in this country, we stand for the national anthem and we put our hand over our heart. It's just
Absolutely.
What you do. That's just, and you can say it's propaganda or whatever. I mean, that's what our country was founded on. All right, we're going to take a break. Stay tuned. One final segment coming up right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com today.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest
Well, the first thing I'd like to do is to thank you. I want to thank you for allowing me to do something that I don't know I've been probably doing for close to 25 years, and that is a Memorial Sunday. I go down to Stillwater's Resort, and I speak down there at the Church of the Living Waters at 9 o'clock. Of course, obviously, I missed the Arbor today, but from what I hear, David Hand did a great job, and I really appreciate that. I also appreciate you allowing me to do that. You'll probably be able to tell how I feel about this day. It's the best day. It's the best holiday we have. There's not another day like it. It's got Thanksgiving and Easter wrapped up with it. And, well, we have a tremendous, I can't even put into words, really, the importance of what this day is. But I love going down there, and I get to talk to about 500 people that could have skipped church today because of Martin Lake. But today, Martin Lake loses out to those that gave their life for this nation. And I get to talk to them about all the fun they're going to have today and tomorrow, and to realize that every bit of it's been bought and paid for by other people. And the title of this message is Honoring the Sacrifice, and the scripture is from Romans 13:7. Just one verse of scripture, but it's a big one. Give to everyone what you owe them. If you owe taxes, pay taxes. If revenue, then revenue. If respect, then respect. If honor, then honor. May God add His richest blessing to the reading of His Word, and may everything I say, everything we think, be to glorify Christ. Let us pray. A story that I've told through the years, I'd be surprised if I hadn't told it here in the last 2.5, is a story about a man who had one job to do in his life. And that job was to go to the side of a very steep mountain and to pull a switch. And in doing so, a drawbridge would drop across the deep ravine between the mountains, and a train would pass over. And that was his job. And he did that every day. He had a young son, 5 years old, and like young people are, they want to go hang out with their dad from time to time. And on a certain day, he allowed his 5-year-old son to accompany him to that job. As I said, his job was simple. He went in there, waited for a toot on the horn of the train, pushed a button, the drawbridge would go down, the train would pass over. On this particular day, knowing how 5-year-olds are, they have a tendency to get out of sight pretty quick and to start playing with stuff, and sometimes with stuff that they got no business playing with. A panic took over the father's heart when he realized he didn't know where his son was. He runs around and he's looking and he's calling, and there's so much noise you can't hear anything. So he looks down below, and his worst horror takes place when he looks down there and sees that his 5-year-old son is playing in the machinery where the drawbridge goes down. He did everything he could to try to get his attention. Here comes the train, it's closer and closer, and all of a sudden this man realized that he had a choice to make. He could either push the button and let the drawbridge go down, which would kill his son in the machinery below, or not pull the switch and allow the train to go over the ravine just like it had every other day. He pulled the switch. And as he did, the drawbridge went down and killed his son. And the train passed over just like it had every other day. And when the father was trying to relate this horrific thing that happened in his life, he said something like this. He said, you know, I knew that there were hundreds of people on that train. There were children on that train. And I knew that there was really only one decision to make. I'm torn up about that decision, but hundreds and hundreds of lives were saved that day. And then he followed with this statement, and this is what I want you to hear. He said, you know, when the train went over the ravine, I saw the same things I'd seen every other time. People were drinking coffee, involved in conversation, taking their hands and waving as they went across the ravine below like they had every other time. And he talked about all the things that they always did. Nothing was different. And he said, you know, those people who he would never know will never realize that on this day, I had to sacrifice my son so they could pass over. And that's what hurts the most, that they'll never know it. I had a very talented English teacher for literature. When's the last time you heard a coach talking about literature, right? But her name was Miss Blackman. And of course, being a literature class, and I was a sophomore in college, you talk a lot about what we call tragedies. And you know, Shakespeare wrote a bunch of those, Romeo and Juliet and Julius Caesar. We talked about those, but there's also some American tragedies, the most famous of which is Death of a Salesman. It's about a guy named Willie Loman. So we talked about all kinds of tragedies. I don't think I could tell you the plot on any of them, but I can tell you what Miss Blackman told me that I've never forgotten. Let me see if I can help you remember it. She said, tragedies are not always something that happens. Many times tragedies are something that could have happened, should have happened, but didn't happen. I want to say it again. A tragedy is not always something that happens. Many times a tragedy is something that could have happened, should have happened, but didn't happen. Now, I take that and I give it merit when I tell you, working with young people all my life, we were always going to have a Veterans Day program at any school I was associated with. First, it was at West Point, which was a K-12 school. Then it was an elementary, middle, and high school. We always had one of those. But when I became superintendent, we had 27 schools in Coleman County. And in every one of those schools, we were going to have a Veterans Day program. And we were going to invite veterans to come and attend those programs for us. So the problem is Memorial Day is after school's out, right? And you can't do a Memorial Day service in school. So we would take our Veterans Day program and throw memorial themes into it, trying to teach the children that people have given their lives so that we could have school, so that Santa Claus could bring them toys, so that we could have the privileges of playing sports, watching TV, going to the movies, turning the water on, taking a bath, have a light switch that works, bought and paid for by the people we're talking about today. Now, the veterans would get on me. They'd say, Billy, how are we going to go to 20? Some of them would go to 6 or 8 of those services, and they'd all get fed, so they were gaining weight like crazy and stuff like that. But don't kid yourself. They really loved it. And my challenge there, and I still have it, and when I was at at the church down there at the lake today, I talked about how many children and youth we have here. This really is a great thing for me, really great. Because our children, this generation, they need to know who has paid the price for us. They need to know. We don't want anybody standing up 10 years from now saying, you know, they could have known, they should have known, but they don't. And that is a tragedy, a serious tragedy that could occur. And that's why we have to do everything in our power to make sure that we know. Let me tell you, I'm a positive person. I hope you agree with that. But you want me to get real negative? Let me tell you a word that I think, I like to kick it out of the vocabulary. I don't ever want to hear it in my life. I want it to be taken completely out. And it is the word entitlement. I'm sick and tired of hearing the word. I don't like the word. And it is contrary to why we're here today. Someone that is entitled think that they deserve to get things that they never worked for. Simply by existing, they should get a standard of life here. Nothing is free. Freedom is not free. And you don't get it by being entitled to it. You get it because people die for it. And they leave their families and their homes, and they sit in a foxhole somewhere on the other side of the world while we're sitting in church today, or while we're driving our boats out on Lake Martin, and they're putting their life on the line. That's not entitlement. The scripture today talks about paying your debt back. It's kind of a strange scripture. Starts off with financial stuff. It says, pay your taxes. Did that hurt when I said that a while ago? Well, I mean, it's true. Taxes do provide stuff for us. And they paid taxes back then. The first thing that Paul says in Romans is if you owe taxes, pay your taxes. The next thing he says, if you owe money to somebody, pay them back. And then he shifts from money and finances to spiritual stuff. You know, from there he goes and says, if you owe someone respect, give them respect. Man, I love that one. And then from there he says, if you owe them honor, give them honor. So he shifts from that. And what he's trying to tell us is pay back to those who have paid and done things for you. I can't do that. I can't pay back the people that have made my life possible. I can't pay back the people that have died. It's a debt that I can't pay. And right in the middle of all of it is one of the greatest Christian concepts we have. You cannot go through Memorial Day service and not talk about the ultimate sacrifice that has all the principles of the ones we're talking about. And that is when God killed his son so that we could pass over the ravine. When God allowed his son to die for us. And exactly how are you going to pay that back? All through the Bible, people tried to say they were entitled to it by keeping the law. That didn't do it. That didn't pay it back. Rich young Luther found that out. I kept all the commandments. And then he walked away because he found out that keeping the commandments didn't entitle him to salvation and eternal life with God. No, it's a gift. It was given to us. And how do you pay that back? Jesus said, no greater love is this than one man should die for his friends. And then turns around and looks at the disciples and said, and you are my friends. Christ wanted to. He willingly died for us. Did I say I didn't like entitlement? Did I mention that? Oh, good, okay. I don't even like the word happy today. So you can kick me out right now if you want. I mean, happy birthday, happy New Year's. Yeah, I wish you that for sure. But those kind of happy apply to our own life. When I say happy Memorial Day, I mean, that's not really what Memorial Day is not for me to be happy. Memorial Day is for me to recognize and understand the price that was paid for everything that I have. Now, I like the word happy. I just don't think maybe it goes with Memorial Day for the people, all the people that have sacrificed their life. But I'll tell you some words I do like. How about that? Reflect. Right? And these will be real quick. I just challenge us to take some time and reflect just a minute. Just reflect on why we have what we have. When we're out there having our picnics and enjoying life, have our grandkids there. How did that happen? Bought and paid for. Everything that we do.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Amanda Scroggins with RE/MAX Around the Lake will cover every inch of Lake Martin's 880 miles of shoreline to find your family's dream home. Amanda's experience is top-notch, and she is consistently a top 10 RE/MAX agent in the state of Alabama. Her love for her clients is sincere and from the heart. Call her today at 256-749-6634 or visit her website, amandascroggins.com, today.
Medicine Express Family Pharmacy, located conveniently at the corner of Airport Drive and Highway 280 in Alexander City, offers friendly service, convenient drive-through service, and can answer any questions on prescriptions and vitamins. Local family owned with 30-plus years of pharmacy experience, they also offer compounding services, which includes personalized hormone replacement, therapies, and pain gels. And they accept most insurance and discount cards. Go see them today at Medicine Express Family Pharmacy.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.